hope you had an outstanding Chayelul. A shout out to a young gentleman who stopped me in Sam's this Friday and told me that he enjoys the stories and he follows on the Facebook. So I'm so appreciative of that. Rabbi Nissen Angel soll sein gesund. When he was a Bacher studying in Montreal, he shares this story, that he rented a room in the house of a Lubavitcher family, and the wife was expecting a child, and it was a very difficult pregnancy, and the doctors were worried they might lose the child, they might lose the mother, the child might not be born healthy, and the doctor wanted them to sign, to God forbid, to remove the danger to the mother by not having the child. And he wanted the husband to sign off on it. And he said, before I sign off, I need to receive a blessing from the Rebbe. So he calls New York to the Rebbe's secretaries, and the Rebbe responded, don't sign anything. Tell the doctor he has to do his best to save both the mother and the child. So the husband goes back to the doctor and he says, I'm sorry, the Rebbe says you have to try to save my wife and the child. And the doctor, who was a very successful, famous, he was the best doctor the family could find, he said, that, what do you think? I don't want to save your wife and the child. It's just, you run the risk of losing both, God forbid. So he again reports to the Rebbe that the doctor is really saying they could lose one or both. And the Rebbe said, again, do not sign anything. Insist that the doctor do his best to save both the mother and the child. So at 10 o'clock at night, the doctor says to the husband, you have other kids at home. Go home, take care of your family. It's going to be a long night, and I'll call you as soon as I have what to share with you. A little after 4 o'clock in the morning, he gets a phone call. It's the doctor on the line. The doctor's very happy. He says, thank God, your wife is fine, the baby is fine, the baby is healthy, everything is great. Mazel tov. So the husband is obviously very excited, and he calls New York to relay the news to the Rebbe that thank God, his wife and the child was delivered at 4 o'clock in the morning, everyone is safe, everyone is great, and he gets a call back from the Rebbe's secretary that the Rebbe wants to know, was the child actually born at 4, or perhaps the child was born at 3:30? Little curious as to why it mattered, but now in the morning, the husband goes down to the hospital, he meets the doctor, he hugs him, he kisses him, he thanks him, and then he says, by the way, was the child actually born at 4? The doctor says, who cares? You have a healthy wife, you have a healthy child, who cares? He says, I know, but my Rebbe wants to know if it was 3:30 or 4 o'clock. So they go over to the nurse station and they pull out the records, and it's written 4 o'clock. So the doctor asks the nurse, is this the time the child was taken to the nursery, or is this the time when the child was actually born? And after a bunch of asking questions, while they're scratching their heads as who cares, but they said, you're right, at 3:30 the child was born, and 30 minutes later he was taken to the nursery. That's what was recorded. But they were all curious as to why the Rebbe needed to know, and why the Rebbe felt that the child was born at 3:30. So he calls back to Maskiras, and he reports that the baby was actually born at 3:30, and he kind of asked, why was it so important to the Rebbe to know the time? And he was told that this is what the Rebbe said to his secretaries. I couldn't go to sleep at night until I was confident that the mother and the baby were both all right. And I laid down at 3:30. So he wanted to confirm that the baby and the mother were both perfect at 3:30. See what it means to be a tzaddik and connected to the souls of a generation, and we all be sealed, written for a wonderful new year. Shana Tova.